What is a non-horror movie which shook you to your core? The Ghost in the Darkness. It's kind of a horror movie, but it's meant to be historical and is about 85% accurate to what really happened. For those who don't know and don't want to watch the movie, in the late 1800s England was building a railroad to link the African continent. Along the Savo River, where workers were camped building a bridge, two maneless male lions killed an estimated 250 Indian laborers until they were shot. I wish I remembered the name, and am probably butchering what the movie was about, but it's a French movie about a guy who is hospitalized and is incapable of speaking, so the nurse uses a letter chart and has him blink every time she points to the right letter. The film shows this in real time, so like a 10-minute scene just for him to say something short. I can't begin to imagine the pain of trying to communicate in such a way. Come and see! A story about a young Russian boy who was forced by the state to fight for his country in World War II. It is not considered a horror movie, but at the same time, the most disturbing one of all time. I guarantee you, even if you're not the type to get easily disturbed, it will keep you up at night, for at least a couple of days. I've since learned The Sixth Sense is a horror movie, but I used to think it was a Christmas movie. I watched it every year from the age of about 6 until being a teenager. I found out it was a horror movie when I asked my boyfriend when they were showing The Sixth Sense for Christmas because I'd not seen it advertised. I was 24. Revolutionary Road really fucked me up and eventually gave me the courage to break up with my boyfriend. Ending up like the two main characters played by Kate Winslet and Leo DiCaprio was and still is my biggest fear. I recommend the movie, but it's very heavy. Tyrannosaur. Incredible film, but utterly harrowing depiction of deviant self-destruction with a glimmer of redemption. To this day, whenever I see Eddie Marsan in any role, my first thought is still, what a C. Incredible acting by him, Olivia Colman and Peter Mullen. I watched The Curious Case of Natalia Grace recently, so that's what comes to mind first. Not a movie, but rather a documentary based on true story. That story breaks my heart, makes me so angry and just sickens me. I haven't been able to get it out of mind. Flatliner. Saw it in theaters in 2017 when I was 15. It has a fucking sex scene in it which I was absolutely not prepared for. Also the whole girl coming out of the water and stabbing their ex-boyfriend, pinning him via his hand to his boat. I hated it. I don't think A Clockwork Orange is considered a horror movie, but it genuinely prevented me from sleeping the night I watched it. Perfect example of a movie that I think is very well done, but I never ever want to watch it again. Wolf Creek. I don't consider it to be a horror film, more of a mishmash of Australian murder stories and folklore. For a bloke who used to host Play School, John Jarratt's performance was disturbingly dark and brilliant AF. For whatever reason, the middle section of the Mel Gibson movie We Were Soldiers stuck with me. Didn't care much for all of the religion surrounding some of it, but the weight of the fighting and loose stayed with me. Serenity. The Reavers changed humans that violently kill and rape. That scene where the lady was recording her message but couldn't get the gun to kill herself in time always shook me. The Last King of Scotland. Watched it randomly at my boyfriend's grandma's house one time we visited, did not know what we were about to experience. Thank God his grandma went to bed early. Come and see! Nothing like the horrors of war. I've seen a lot of war films, but that one is very difficult to sit through. A very good movie, but one I don't want to rewatch anytime soon. Othello. The story bait and play or film format never fails to bother me. The whole thing with the antagonist not explaining his motive still works on me to this day. Two very different films wrecked me on separate occasions: How to Die in Oregon and Hotel Rwanda. I openly wept after each film. I will not watch either again. Saturday Night Fever. Both the gang rape where the victim was chastised after being assaulted followed immediately by the younger boy falling off the bridge. For me it is a war, and it's supposed to be a romantic drama. It was just such a sad movie to watch with a tragic ending. Saving Private Ryan, especially the D-Day scene. Most movies based on real disasters, wars, will always deeply disturb me. Boys Don't Cry. Not a horror flick by any means, but I was quite disturbed by what happened to Hilary Swank's character. Bully is the scariest movie ever. It's not a horror movie, but the fact that it is based on a true story is horrifying. Requiem for a Dream for sure, but also we need to talk about Kevin. Climax and Irreversible are also shocking and gory. Revolutionary Road. Saw it in college and had a meltdown. Living happily not in the suburbs for 15 years now. Rock on Gesture. Dubuque is 1.5 acres of land. An old Bollywood classic. We Were Soldiers. Very underrated war movie, one of my favorites. Really explored some of the horrors of war. Leaving Las Vegas. I still feel like it's just real life horror. Like damn. Everyone should watch it once. Running Scared. That scene where Oleg is with the family that has body bags for children in their house. Kids. I was 13 when it came out, but I never saw it until pandemic. Holy shit, that movie is wild. 4 months, 3 weeks, and 2 days. I think about it all the time. It's a horrifying non-horror film. This is 40. Supposed to be a comedy, I think. Horrified at the possibility of living that life, The Truman Show comes to mind. From Truman's perspective, it literally is a horror experience. The woodsman, the whole thing, but especially Bacon's conversation with the girl in park. Toy Story 3. Something is very wrong with that movie. Especially the incinerator scene. Blue Valentine, or A Marriage Story. How a relationship can go really, really wrong. Not really shook to the core, but the swamp witch on Legend always freaked me out. Home Alone. I can't believe the nail scene was flagged as family appropriate. Skull, Skull, Skull. The Wicker Man, from the 70s. Don't watch the version with Nicolas Cage. These Final Hours. It's an Australian movie about the end of the world. Boogie Nights. The drug deal scene with Alfred Molina was really tense. A Beautiful Mind. Absolutely messed my head up for a while after. Bambi. I didn't realize moms weren't invincible until I saw that. Tusk. It's one of my biggest life regrets. Probably my only one. Inland Empire. I don't think that would be considered horror. The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. Great movie, but never again.